Hello and welcome to the Ghost Town Chronicles. Today we will explore some of the most incredible structures in the world that were left abandoned. For our first stop, we are traveling to the abandoned UFO Resort. Located in northern New Taipei, in Taiwan, lies a district called Sanji, an area that was originally a vacation beach resort built in 1978. Unlike the beach houses that usually come to mind for a coastal getaway, this resort consisted of UFO-like houses resembling futuropods, prefabricated houses built in the 1960s and 70s. The unusual resort, however, never hosted a single guest, never finished in construction, and was abandoned to become another ghost town. After being completely demolished in 2010, there now lie no remains of it. But behind the project's failure lies many conspiracy theories. Sanji Pod City was owned by the Hunqua Group and was built to cater to American soldiers who were stationed in East Asian countries in the 70s. It was also marketed towards the wealthy people of the area to buy the pods as second homes. The original idea for concrete sci-fi structures with fiber-reinforced plastic coverings came from plastics manufacturer Uchoko. The idea for prefabricated flying saucer-shaped homes came from Matti Suurinen, a Finnish architect well known for his Futuro and Venturo homes in the Casa Finlandia series. The UFO Futuro chic architecture was meant to make an unusual and unique resort, and also serve as a futuristic haven for the soldiers. The houses were also equipped with various modern conveniences and technology with the hope to represent the country's fast growth and development. The resort also included water bodies and slides for water activities. In 1980, Ucho went bankrupt and the Hunqua Group faced many investment losses. This caused the project to shut down and then be abandoned for almost 10 years. In 1989, Hunqua wanted to extend its tourism business and was then approached by Tsai Chin-chin, president of Haicheng Tian, a local beer house, who proposed to continue the construction of Sanji Pod City. The project was set to finish constructing the half-completed houses without any redesigns or reconstruction. Unfortunately, the project didn't even last a year. By the end of 1989, Sanji was abandoned once again due to conflict in ideas for the compound as well as the existing structures not being structurally sound and constructed in a way not fit to handle seismic activity of the zone. An earthquake could cause severe damage and leaks with no solutions, and hence the project was once again a dead end. The site was left untouched for a total of 30 years. During this state of dereliction, the site became an underground tourist attraction point for the many eerie theories about the ghost town. Though it said the Sanji project shut down due to investment losses, a lot of strange things occurred as well during the 2 years it was in construction. The lives of many workers were lost due to car accidents. Other freak accidents were occurring in the area too, along with several people taking their lives even though there was said to be no signs of them being troubled by anything. Some people related these deaths to supernatural causes, and that these deaths were the main hidden reason the project came to a halt because it drove the workers away. One of the stories says that the site was built on a burial ground for Dutch soldiers. Some have reported seeing spirits and ghosts in the area as well, claiming that the place was haunted. There were rumors as well that 20,000 skeletal remains of 17th century Dutch soldiers were found on the site. Another theory was that the area was cursed and misfortunes were brought upon anyone who entered due to the workers destroying a Chinese dragon statue at the entrance of the site for road widening. According to Chinese culture, dragons are powerful heroic creatures that symbolize good fortune, energy, prosperity, and consistent success. Because the statue was broken, rumors spread that it cursed the land. All the superstitions and sinister theories have been said to be what led Sanji to become a ghost town when it had good potential to become a well-known tourist attraction. The Pod City soon gained a new name soon after it was abandoned, Ruins of the Future. Though the site was closed off and no one was allowed to step foot in, the place attracted many curious tourists to explore the said haunted land. Sanji also became a filming location for MTV for its haunting sites. The resort was photographed and included in many articles as one of the most haunted places on Earth, contributing to discussions on online platforms. For nearly 30 years, the Taiwan government had no say on what to do with the land as it was owned by the Hunqua Group. In 2008, the resort was set to be demolished despite a petition that went around to retain one of the pods as a museum. By 2010, demolition of the site was completed, and there now remains no trace of the Shaanxi County's existence in the area except through photographs. According to Qin Huichu, director of the Tourism and Travel Bureau, the Taipei County government now has clearance to reconstruct the area into a tourist attraction again, with hotels and beach facilities. However, since 2010, Sanji has remained deserted. For our next stop, we are traveling to Lebanon. In the northern city of Batroun, one cannot help but notice a peculiar building on the shore next to the brewery. An unfinished concrete alien from the school of brutalism. Built in 1963 by architect Nicholas Yazigi, who passed away in 2004, little is left on record about the complex due to his studio burning down, along with most of the blueprints and plans. The only surviving record proving Yazigi's hand in the design was found by his son Serge Yazigi in his father's papers at Al Arabiya English's request. The sectional drawing of the aquarium shows that the open-air top floor was intended to be a dolphinarium and not, as many had assumed, a restaurant. The unusual structure was conceived to become an aquarium as part of a marine complex, including a maritime educational establishment, accommodation and administrative blocks, a restaurant, fish tanks and a planetarium. Sadly, the project was abandoned due to conflicting authorities, and the aquarium remains closed off to this day. After having transformed Beirut's war-ravaged Burj El Mer with vibrant curtains in 2018, Lebanese artist Jad El Khoury has added color and undeniable joy to one most iconic landmarks on the Lebanese coastline. Manchafet El Bayer is an art installation that breathes new life into the aquarium while highlighting the movement generated by the structure's distinctive architecture. Beach towels of various colors and patterns have been suspended along the ramp, spiraling the structure to emphasize its swirling, circular motion. The swaying towels animate the building on both visual and auditory levels through the oscillating movement of the wind. The installation also pays tribute to the tender wind of the city, that echoes the smell, taste, and feeling of the sea. By the simple movement of the wind, the aquarium returns to its original purpose of bringing joy to the public. It sheds light on the degrading cultural sector in Lebanon and brings into questions the lack of development of public cultural and scientific centers. And before we go to our third location, please consider leaving a like and a comment to this video. It really helps the channel grow and motivates to keep making the videos. For our third stop, we are going to visit Thames Estuary, located off the coast of southeast England. Part of the Thames Estuary Defence Network, the anti-aircraft tower forts were constructed in 1942, with each fort consisting of a cluster of 7 stilted buildings surrounding a central command tower. When operational, catwalks connected the buildings. Built on land and then transported to their watery homes, the forts were designed by Guy Maunsell, a British civil engineer, later known for innovations in concrete bridge design. Originally there were 3 of these forts, but only 2 are left standing, the Red Sands Fort and the Shivering Sands Fort. After their successful wartime career, the forts were decommissioned in the 1950s. The Noor Army Fort was badly damaged by both a storm and being struck by a ship and was dismantled in 1959-60. In the 1960s and 70s, the remaining abandoned forts were famously taken over as pirate radio stations. The micronation Principality of Sealand occupies a nearby Navy fort of a different design known as the Ruffs Tower, also built by Maunsell. All of the Army forts are now abandoned. In 2003, the Project Red Sands organization was formed with the aim of protecting and possibly restoring the Red Sands Fort, chosen over Shivering Sands due to its better state of preservation. More recently, the Shivering Sands Fort was occupied by the artist Stephen Turner for 36 days in 2005, roughly the same amount of time a World War II serviceman would have spent at the fort. He described the project as an experiment in isolation and wrote a blog and a book about the project. In 2008, The Prodigy filmed a music video at Red Sands. According to Underground Kent, an organization dedicated to exploring and documenting the military installations in Kent. Access for the men posted to these forts was via an entrance at the base of the platform. Parts of the ladders that the men would have used are still visible today but are in a very poor condition. Indeed, attempting to access these forts is extremely hazardous, and they are best viewed from a boat and a safe distance. The forts are now in varying states of decay, and attempting to enter them is probably ill-advised, if not illegal. They can be seen by boat, or on a clear day, from Sherberinus East Beach. Our last stop for today is located in Beelitz, a town in the state of Brandenburg, Germany. It is situated approximately 30 kilometers southwest of Berlin. Sometimes abandoned buildings merely look creepy, but in truth, we're home to some boring manufacturing plant, or some benign industrial process. The Beelitz Heilstatten Hospital's history lives up to its dark visage. Built in 1898, this disused hospital complex of approximately 60 buildings located in the district of Beelitz Heilstatten. Between 1898 and 1930, the complex served as a sanatorium for lung diseases, generally housing those with then-fatal conditions such as tuberculosis. During the First World War, it served as a field hospital that treated the earliest casualties of such new weapons as machine guns and mustard gas. During this time, it also treated a young soldier by the name of Adolf Hitler, who had been blinded by a British gas attack and wounded in the leg at the Battle of the Somme, which earned him the Iron Cross. Ironically, these experiences and his successful treatment would set the stage for the hospital to once again be used as a field hospital, treating wounded Nazis during World War II. Occupied by the Russians in 1945, it served as a Soviet military hospital for the next 50 years until 1995, long after the fall of the Berlin Wall. The hospital treated everyone from Communist Party members to the disgraced head of the East German government, who was sent there after being forced out in 1990. Today, while a few small sections of the enormous hospital are used for neurological rehabilitation and Parkinson's research, the majority of the complex, including the surgery ward, the psychiatric ward, and a rifle range, have all been abandoned and left to decay back into the surrounding forest. In 2002, it was used as a set for the Roman Polanski film The Pianist. As none of the complex was guarded until 2015, it was a popular place for urban exploration, teenagers, and people looking to give themselves a good scare. In 2015, the ruins were outfitted with a canopy pathway, which allows to view the ruins on every level without need to enter them. Now it's less an adventure and more of a tourist attraction. But it hasn't lost the charm and is now fully accessible for walking impaired persons. Many of the buildings are securely gated off. There are tours available, but they don't really show you much. There is still a fair share of buildings of the complex that can be explored, but many of the more attractive buildings are legally inaccessible. The canopy pathway covers the main buildings for male and female patients, kitchen, and some other buildings. For the canopy pathway you need to buy a ticket, but there are still large parts of the complex which are free to explore without ticket. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to the channel and leaving a like. See you next time for more Ghost Town Chronicles.